First of all, that was not as a presidential speech. That was a speech from a dictator. That was a dictator. That was a dictator declaring war upon his people. That is what Ruto did in that speech. That was a dictator declaring war.
Hello guys, it's your girl Patient Status. Welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time here, make sure you hit the subscription box and put on the notification bell so that you don't any time I post a new video. You know I'm the queen of one and gossip. So welcome to today's video. Don't forget to like and leave a comment in the comment section.
We read and we understand what the law says. It is shameful, it is sick, it is sad. But what's wrong is wrong. There's no way that what's wrong can ever be right. So I was giving honor to the people who died yesterday before I actually listened to this speech, because I feel like this speech is a dishonor to the lives of those young men and women who died. But even though it's dishonorable, we need to listen and call it out and talk about the dishonor in it. It's important that we do so. Let me play look for his speech. And I'm gonna just be pausing as I go.
What if you could upload one mini AI written ebook onto Amazon that could replace your income and change your life forever? Let me show you how to do exactly this in the next 90 seconds. First,
it is possible that the criminals who raped, most regrettably, today's attack on Kenya's constitutional order has resulted in the loss of lives, also destruction of property and desecration of institutions and emblems of our sovereignty. Today's events mark a critical turning point on how we respond to grave threats to our national security. I assure the nation that the government has mobilized all resources at the nation's disposal to ensure that a situation of this nature will not recur again at whatever cost. I thank our security officers who are on duty today for applying themselves to the best of their abilities in the defense of Kenya and its people. Accordingly, I have directed all the organs of our national security to deploy measures to thwart any attempt by dangerous criminals to undermine the security and stability of our country. As the people of Kenya go to bed tonight, I give you my assurance that your security, that of your families and property, remains my utmost priority. To the young people of Kenya, who I must thank for helping our country organize our democratic discourse around issues, I thank you and assure you that the conversation you have begun around pertinent issues of our nation will continue to inform our policy and governance decisions. As I promised on Sunday, this conversation will not be in vain. I will not only champion for the cause of issue-based, policy-oriented, and tribeless engagement on critical national issues, but also provide a framework for this conversation to be processed and its outcomes implemented. However, Our national conversation on any subject matter must be conducted in a manner that respects and honors the foundational values upon which our nation is established, namely constitutionalism, the rule of law, and respect for institutions. It is very painful for Kenya that a conversation this crucial was hijacked by dangerous people who have caused us the kind of loss we have incurred as a nation today. It is possible that the criminals who rained terror on innocent people and attempted to challenge our law enforcement deployments are still determined to continue with their dangerous behavior. I assure the nation of the government's determination to fulfill its constitutional duty of protecting the people of Kenya against all forms of harm. I hereby put on notice the planners, financiers, orchestrators, and abettors of violence and anarchy that the security infrastructure established to protect our republic and its sovereignty will be deployed to secure the country and restore normalcy. It is not in order or even conceivable that criminals pretending to be peaceful protesters can rain terror against the people, their elected representatives, and the institutions established under our Constitution and expect to go scot-free. We must isolate crime from democratic expression and separate criminals from people exercising the freedom of expression and divergent opinion. I shall continue to lead a government that is fully committed to maintaining the integrity of our state, promoting the unity of our nation, and enhancing the peace and security of all citizens and their livelihoods. I am bound under sacred constitutional mandate to respect, uphold, and defend the Constitution of Kenya, which declares that all sovereign power belongs to the people, and that this power shall be exercised only in accordance with the Constitution. The government will therefore uphold its constitutional mandate to secure our nation and its development, and shall treat every threat to national security and the integrity of our state as an existential danger to our republic.
Building your online business? Go to Wix.com and set up your store on a...
Munasikia huyo mtu vile ameongea? Did you guys listen to what he said? Let me tell you guys what he's doing. What I've listened to that speech. This is the second time I'm listening to that speech. Let me tell you what he is doing. Koja kwanza ni bai kitu. Naambia hebu mniandikie kama mnanisikia, because I put on my AirPods. I wanted to let me just dissect that speech. Can you guys hear me? Mnanisikia vizuri? Now, there are three things that you need to be aware of. First of all, that was not as a presidential speech. That was a speech from a dictator. That was a dictator. That was a dictator declaring war upon his people. That is what Ruto did in that speech. That was a dictator declaring war. And he's declaring war on Kenyan people, the Kenyan youth, Don't you forget that. Ruto has declared war on the Kenyan youth. Ruto is calling Kenyan youths that are protesting injustice criminals. This same man that was taken to the ICC, this same man that sat in the highest court for criminals, is calling the youth that are just rejecting a bill that is draconian. He's calling the youths criminals. You are declaring war on children. Watoto ambao ni rika za watoto wako. Ruto is declaring war on children that are fit to be his own children. And he's telling these children that he's going to organize state operatives and state machinery. Youths, be ready and be aware. Ruto has declared war on young men and women in Kenya. Nimewaambia hapa na msipochunga nawaambia mtamalizwa. That is what he is planning on doing. He is planning to use the police. He's planning to use the army. He's planning to use plain clothes. He's planning to use GSU. He is going to be doing Moi style elimination. Nimewambia hapa. That is what that speech is all about. That speech is not a presidential speech. What the Constitution states about the role and the mandate of a president is very clear. The president is the protector. The president is a unifying factor. The president speaks with one voice to protect his people. The president is not a divider of people. He does not speak tribe. This man even brought tribe in his speech. Mulimsikia akiongelelea tribe. The Gen Z, the youths that have been on the streets, they have no tribe. They have been protesting with zero tribe. They did not talk about tribe anywhere. Everybody has been protesting. Nakuru, Molo, Kisumu, Nairobi, Mombasa, everywhere, Kitale. It has not been a tribal issue. But this Nugui comes here to put a speech and tells us that tribe. What tribe? And then he is trying to divide and sow seeds of discord among Gen Z and the youth by claiming that there are people that are financing the movement. No, there is nobody financing the movement. What is motivating the youths is hunger and anger. When you play with a hungry and an angry person, they will come to your doorstep. That is what is happening, Ruto. Let me tell you. You have made the youth hungry and now you've made them angry. And the reason why they are angry is because you have decided to actually not listen to their voices. The youths were simply trying to tell you that what you want to do is going to oppress them, is going to make them feel the pangs of difficult economic times, is going to harm their livelihoods, their pockets, because the finance bill, the one that was passed, is draconian. Kuna vipengele katika hiyo bill yenye ilipitishwa ambayo yani itafanya mle Mkenya wa kawaida akuwe yani maskini kabisa. Asipokuwa mwizi ama uwe watu mahali hawezi akasurvive. This man is simply declaring war on our children. And he's not ashamed of saying it. Haogopi. We the people have the power. We are the sovereign power in Kenya. The people have the power. The people have the mandate to protest. The people have the mandate and they are protected by the Constitution to protest, to call to action a government that is not serving their interest. The government's duty is to protect its people. The government has one duty only, to protect its people. To make sure that the people have 3 square meals a day, have access to education, have access to medical services. and also have a welfare system that people can fall back on. That is what this government has failed to give us. And so when the youth arise and protest the inception of a draconian bill and law, the government chooses to use live bullets to eliminate and to silence the voices of the youth, silence the voices of the future leaders, the future parliamentarians that should be occupying parliament. How can youth that are unarmed, without guns, without bullets, be a threat to government? This same idiot who failed to even protect us, they failed to protect us when he was also vice president with Uhuru Kenyatta. They failed to protect us from terrorism. Did they not? When our young youths were massacred in Garissa, is he not the same person who was in power at that time? What happened? Westgate. So now they suddenly understand how the government has state machinery to protect the sovereignty of a country. The way forward is simple. Do not relent. Viva, 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 viva. Do not relent. And I'm going to tell you a few things that you need to do, guys. I'm going to put out a small video of a few things that you need to do when you go out to protest. Some things that you need to have ukienda kuprotest. Unasikia? Hapa kwa Kijaluo kuna kitu inaitwa, kuna ile plant inaitwa aila. Wale wenye wanajua, sitaki kusema kwa Kiingereza, wale wanajua aila kwa Kiingereza muandike kwa comment section, alafu nawaambia process vile inatengenezwa. We have to teach the youth ways of protecting themselves from extrajudicial killings. We must teach our Kenyan youth, women and young men and boys how to protect themselves from the police and the extrajudicial killings. Muniandikia hapo hiyo plant vile inaitwa kwa Kizungu. Niwaambie vile mnafanya. Unachukua hiyo kitu inaitwa aila. Sisi kwetu kwa Wajaluo inaitwa aila. It's called poison ivy. Look for poison ivy, guys. Munanisikia? Mumeweka masikio hapa nawaambia. When the police come, tafuteni poison ivy. Munanisikia? Chukua poison ivy. It's called stinging nettle. Listen, I'm teaching you ways to protect yourself. You take the stinging nettle and you soak it in water. Usishike na mkono. Mnasikia? Unatumia juala. Tumia juala. Unaeka hiyo stinging nettle na chumvi kidogo tu. Kama uko na baking powder pia, wekelea hapo kidogo. Unaingiza kwa maji, ukishaweka kwa maji unasoak, unapiga hivi. Piga stinging nettle hivi, unapiga ukipenda ikue kama powder hivi. Unasikia? Unaeka kwa maji. Unanisikia vile nimesema? Mkishaweka kwa maji ikasoak. Unaweza weka isoak kutoka asubuhi mpaka jioni. Ingiza hivyo, uweke kwa chupa, tembea enda nayo kwa protest. Sasa ile polisi amekuja. Unasikia? Ama polisi akiingia kwako. Are you hearing what I'm saying? My friends, when you're out there, take it. Mwaga unasonga kwa kwani nimefanya nini? Hii ni maji, tu ni maji. What have I done? Why are you taking me? Mwaga. Wabaki hapo na hiyo bunduki yao wakijikuna mpaka matako zao zipasuke. Watajikuna mpaka matako itapasuka. Nimewaambia hapa. Do that. You have to protect yourself. We must start teaching people because we are not on the ground. Unasikia? That thing nimewaambia hivyo, nitaweka video, nimewapatia tu kidogo na nitakuwa naweka yani nitawekea videos. Unasikia? Hiyo kitu works like magic. Unasikia? You have to find ways of protecting yourself so that you do not be eliminated. If they are going to use guns, we are going to use our brains. That is what we are going to use. Unasikia? Na you say you aim for the eyes na una aim for hapa chini. Unaona hizo hapa chini hapa? Unaona hapa? Hapa kwa hiyo vitu yao hapo, unamwaga maji hapo chini. Kama ni polisi mwanaume unasonga hapo karibu. Hata let me tell you another thing. Unasikia? So as you go to protest, dear women, muvae manguo kwa tumbo zenu. Mumesikia kitu nimesema? Wanawake wenye wanaweza vaa nguo kwa tumbo yako, unajifanya ni kama uko na mimba. Are you hearing me? Itika uwinda maber gima wacho. When you go out there, unavaa hiyo nguo ni kama uko na mimba. Unasikia? Alafu nyinyi wenye mko na hizo mimba ndio mnabeba hizo machupa zenu. Unasikia? Sababu ukiwa na mimba unafika pale unamwambia vile umechoka nini, you want to sit down. Hivinjo na hiyo maji yenu na bottle spray. My friend, make sure you use it. I've told you, police watajikuna for 2 days. I've told you, because these people are fishing Kenyans from their houses. Wanatutoa kwa manyumba. Sasa atachukua bunduki saa ngapi arushe na anajikuna? Kitu yake inamuasha, macho inamuasha, hawezi atajikuna, una aim for matako. Nimewambia hapa. Yes, we are going to teach the youth how to protect themselves. Umenisikia vizuri? Haya, kitu ingine tena mnafanya, mtaenda kwa slaughter. Unasikia kitu nimesema? You guys have to arm yourself properly, because it is not over until it is over. Aijaisha, we have to protect ourselves. Unasikia? Yes. Na ukienda pale Kikombo utapata hiyo aila. The stinging nettle is very very available in the bushes in Nairobi. You need to get us. Unasikia? Kitu Kenya mtafanya, mnaona hizi speakers zenye mnakuanga nazo, hizi speakers zenye the portable ones, hapa huku tuko na JBL na nini. Unasikia? The portable speakers that you have. Unasikia? Hizo portable speakers zenye mko nazo. Unasikia kitu nawaambia hapa? Munasikizana mkienda huko kwa crowd, because for you to penetrate the blockade of the police, you need to confuse them. Unasikia vile nimesema? You must confuse them. Sawa? Yani, you will confuse the police, and the only way to confuse them is by creating diversionary tactics. Umesikia? Kwa hizo maspika mkue hapo mnatafuta zile sounds za watoto kulia ikiwa huko ndani. Unasikia? Na ikiwa speaker yenye inalipuka vizuri. Are you hearing what I'm saying? This is how protests are done properly. Without violence, you just cause the chaos and confusion. Umesikia? Sasa boombox, hiyo boombox. Unafungua boombox, polisi wanasikia ni kama mtoto analia huko. Umesikia? Mbio wanafuata huko. Na wamama pia wanapiga nduru pale boombox imelia. Well, they are running that side. Mnapenya hii side. Mnasikia kitu nimesema? You must find ways of creating diversionary tactics. You must occupy those spaces zenye wanafikiria mwezi mkafikia. Because you outnumber them, my friend. Saile wanakimbia huko kwenda kutafuta ati mtoto analia, sijui nini, wamama wanapiga kelele. My friend, penya na hii side wakikimbia huko. You must divide these people, guys. Tumieni akili. Na ukisikia polisi wakikuja kwa nyumba yako, mnanisikia sasa, wekeni masikio. I'm teaching you a few things you need to do. Please listen keenly, because they are going to be coming into your homes to remove people in their homes. Wameanza kuingia kwa manyumba za watu kuchota watu. Ikifika saa ya usiku, tafadhali wa vijana wa Kenya mnalala mapema. Mnanisikia? Maneno ya kulala usiku sijui saa 4 saa 5, hapana. You need to be able to have eaten. Unakula mapema. Saa 11 mmekula, ukijua you could be a target, please lala mapema na si kulala. Wache niwaambie siri. Wenye wako na milango ya chuma, hivi nyamaberi, mlango za chuma. Wenye wako na mlango za chuma, mnanisikia? Secret. Chukua code extension ya stima. Chukua extension ya stima, zile ma extensions za stima hizo code zenu za stima hizo stima hizo extensions sitawaambia, mnajua vizuri. Mnajua the next thing what you need to do. Na pia kitu unafanya, make sure umeweka kama maji kidogo hapo kwa hiyo mlango. Did you hear me? Protect yourself. So wakikuja hapo ati ngong, stima inachapa mtu mpaka anapasuka matako huko nyuma. Do not allow the police to intimidate you and come into your homes. You have a right to protect your property. You have a right to protect yourself and your children. Do not be removed from your home. Watoto wako wabaki bila mama, bila baba, kwa sababu polisi wamefika kwa nyumba yako. Prevention is better than cure. Umesikia kitu nimesema? You need to protect yourself. You must protect yourself. Umesikia? And this is the time for drama, guys. Dear women, umeshikwa pale kwa street. Kama umeshashikwa pale kwa street, please don't fight the police wakikufuruta kwa street, wakikuingiza kwa hizo magari zao, sijui zinaitwa Maria, sijui nani. But ukifika hapo kwa Maria, my friend, always land on mubebe kitu inaitwa baking soda. Mumenisikia vile ninasema? Hapo kwa gari ya polisi unaweza ukakuwa na kifafa, unaweza ukakuwa na chochote, unaweza ukatokwa na damu kwa mapua. Na niliwaambia damu tunatoa kwa slaughterhouse na tunaweka chumvi ndani. Mumesikia kitu nimesema? The reason why you have to put salt ndio damu isishikane. Nimewaambia hapa. Ukiwa kwa hiyo gari ya polisi, damu unaweza ukatoa kwa mapua, utoe kwa mdomo. Wakikuja kukuamsha hapo, weka damu kwa mdomo. Wakikuja kushika hivi, hiyo damu unaachilia tu kidogo, inatoka hivi. Polisi watakimbia, watashanga. Watakukimbiza kwa hospitali, my friend. Kwani ni kesho utapelekwa hospitali. Don't allow these fools ati wawapange. Mumeenda shule bwana. Umesikia? You have to find and formulate tactics. You must find tactics. Haya, kitu ingine mnafaa kufanya. Hii namba ya Mr. na Mrs. Diba na Diba. Look for your member of parliament's number. Tafuta namba ya simu ya member of parliament wako. Report that number to 333. Tumeni pesa huko, shilingi 2, shilingi 3, 50, 30 bob, 10 bob. Please, mjitafute watu wa constituency moja, mkue kama watu 30, mkae chini. Umenisikia? Mutume hapo pesa 50, 10, 100, 20. Then, after 1 hour, report. Report the numbers of all the members of parliament that voted yes for that draconian bill to Safaricom. Una report na unatuma salamu, una report na unatuma salamu. Akitafuta namba ingine, una report mpaka ya PA wake, kila kitu. We are going to make sure that we lock them. No communication. Umesikia? We have to cripple the same people that are trying to cripple us. If you are not going to be in the street, please work against this government digitally. Tumeelewana? It's very, very important that we do so. We cannot allow a government to stifle us. Ni kama we don't have voices. We have a right to protest what is draconian. We do. It is our right, mandated in the Constitution, for us to picket, to protest, present petitions. And when the same government does not respect that right, and they choose to use force because they don't want to listen to us, we must fight. The government that is the custodian of the people, calling the people who are actually protesting criminals, should be something all of us should be afraid of. Hakuna kuogopa. Let us be fearless in our quest for freedom, because those who died should not die in vain. We keep fighting. Because we are here today, because other people died for us. Kama Maumau wangekufa, hatungekuwa hapa. Kama Maumau wangekufa, hatungekuwa hapa. Kama wamama hawangeenda Beijing, hatungekuwa hapa. People fought for us to be here today. People died for us to be here today. People like Tom Mboya, Robert Ouko, Muge, all the people that were finished by the regimes that were there before, they died for us to be here. They died for us to be here. So, as we head to State House tomorrow, protect yourself. And listen guys, wale members of parliament wenye walivote yes, nimewaona hapa kwa TikTok. Mnanisikia? Alice Ng'ang'a alikuwa kwa TikTok akiwaonyesha pesa zake, akiwaonyesha vile ako na pesa. Please look for Honorable Alice Ng'ang'a's account. Report that account. Anytime she goes live, report it. Anytime ameenda pale akaweka video ya pesa hesabu, report that account. Report. Usikose kurikuni. Anakuja kutuonesha pesa while kuna Wakenya wanaishi below the dollar. Na sahi hiyo pesa wanataka kutuibia through taxes. Don't allow any member of parliament on TikTok that voted yes for that. Tutaenda tukaswam accounts zao properly mpaka hawezi wakakuja hapa live. We are not going to allow them to exist in this space if they are not going to respect our sovereignty as the people of Kenya. You must attack from all corners. Do not allow them, do not relent. Na nimewaambia hapa, that speech by Ruto, that was a threat to the youth. He is sending a warning that he wants to eliminate the youth in Kenya. That is what he's doing. Anatuambia ya kwamba sisi hana haja na wale wa vijana, anawaita criminals. Tangu lini mkaona rais wa nchi anaita watoto vijana wenye wanafaa kuwa kama watoto wake criminals? Since when? Guys, since when did you see a president being that divisive with such hate? Instead of Ruto being the voice of reason, instead of Ruto actually deciding to take a step back and listening to the voices and even conveying messages of condolences to the families who have lost their loved ones through extrajudicial killings caused by his own police. Anatuambia ya kwamba vijana wenye walienda kuprotest a draconian law ati ni criminals. This man does not care about the youth. He doesn't. He only cares about his stomach. And another thing you must now start doing also, think about recalling those members of parliament that voted yes. Nitaweka hapa video, mujue how to recall your member of parliament. To recall a member of parliament, you will need 30% signatures from the constituency. Out of those 30% signatures, you only need 15% signatures from each ward in your constituency, so that you can recall your member of parliament. They have served already for 2 years. Na pia msisahau, guys, this protest needs to go to the ballot. Let the protest move to the ballot, because in 2027 hiyo kirende yote iko kwa parliament inafaa kuenda nyumbani. We need to start mobilizing Gen Z, activate them to leadership. Let them understand the power of occupying parliament, spaces where policies, where laws are being made. It's so important that we now start thinking about true quality leadership and not leadership along tribal lines. We need to unify as the youth and the millennials, so that we make sure we put in office people who serve our interest and not their own interest. This movement should not be soiled, it should not tire. We have always protested, but we tire. The problem is Kenyans forget quickly, but this time I believe it's not going to stop. This movement is going to be incessant and it's going to exacerbate. We cannot forget the ills that have happened in our country. Our country, Kenya, has a history of extrajudicial killings. We are aware. The fact that we don't talk about it does not mean that we don't know. We know how the government systems work to eliminate people who have actually protested and opposed oppression in many forms. Kwani tunalala? Hatujui? Kwani tumesahau Musando? Kwani tumesahau vile Kibaki aliapishwa usiku? Kwani tumesahau Roberto huko? Tumesahau akina Ochieng' Oneko? Tumesahau Raila Odinga na baba Raila Odinga, tafadhali. Raila Odinga, kaa kwa nyumba. Don't. Your work with Kenyans is done. Don't engage anybody anywhere. Don't. Allow these people to clean up their mess. Sit back and enjoy. Niliona mtu mwingine hapa akijitokeza akisema eti Raila, wacheni Raila akae chini na akae kando. Raila Odinga, sit away. Let Ruto clean up his mess. Wachana naye, you didn't create it. They don't care about you. They only try to bring you in when it benefits them. Now that he's seeing the country is burning, he's going to try and look for you because it will benefit him. But the good thing this time, sio maneno ya Wajaluo, sio maneno ya Kondele, it is countrywide. It has nothing to do with tribe, it is countrywide. So Raila has no business engaging, he has no business getting involved at all. Mumwache. Vile Ruto alianza hii kizungumkuti ndio vile ataimaliza. Hii mziki ni yeye ndiye alianzisha. Ruto had the opportunity to negotiate. He had the opportunity to actually listen to the people of Kenya. But he chose not to because he wanted to rule with a fist. And he still wants to rule with a fist. Anataka kutuonesha yani vile yeye ni shupavu. Anataka kuonesha mayouths vile yako na he's the head of inaitwaje commander ango nyofo armed cheta forces hizo. That is what he wants to do. So as I end this live, I want to once again say I wish my condolences to the families of all those who had fallen yesterday, all the youth, the young men and women that lost their lives yesterday protesting for us on our behalf. They laid their lives. Those are our heroes. Those are the people we need to celebrate each and every day on these platforms. We need to find their names. We need to find out who they are. We need to celebrate them, give honor and put honor in their names because they died fighting. They died fighting. They were killed fighting. Fighting for our rights. Fighting for the future generations. That is something that we should never ever forget. We should never ever forget yesterday. A government that is killing its children. A government that lacks honor. A government that has no respect for the rule of law. A government that refuses to honor and listen to what the Constitution stipulates about our sovereignty as the people of Kenya. Shame on you, Ruto. Your speech was a dictator's speech. That was a dictator talking. A dictator sounding an alarm about his wrath that is about to come. So dear youth, be prepared, for the dictator is preparing to eliminate you one by one. The dictator wants to silence you. The dictator wants to make sure you do not fight. The dictator wants to make sure you do not protest. A country that more than half of the people are living below the dollar. This man thinks that people who are hungry have business listening to him. People who are hungry care about nothing. A hungry nation and an angry nation will fight. And when you keep on eating from hungry people, they will have nothing but your doorstep to seek. Now it has come time where people who are hungry are going to go to the doorsteps of the same politicians that have been eating from their pockets, ensuring that they are hungry. That is what is going to happen. So a hungry nation and an angry nation act. And I'm going to say it very clearly. Revolutions are never peaceful. Revolutions are never peaceful, guys. Revolutions are never peaceful. Kwa hivyo hiyo story ya mtu kuja kutuambia hapa ati peace, ati sijui nene apitiko peace, wewe. Revolutions are never peaceful. Revolutions are never peaceful. Never. When you are seeking to change an oppressive regime, they cannot be peace. Because people are fighting for their lives. People are fighting to actually exist. People are fighting to even put food on the table. People are fighting for future generations. So revolutions are never peaceful. What has been started in Kenya is a revolution. And Kenya needs a revolution. In revolutions, buildings burn. In revolutions, people get killed. In revolutions, people sleep hungry. In revolutions, people get jailed. In revolutions, people are taken away from their homes at night by the oppressive regimes. So this is the era of revolution. Where is Gabriel Ogoda? Where is the other journalist? Where are they? Revolutions are never peaceful. Until we find peace within ourselves as Kenyans, there will be no peace in Kenya. We are not going to give Ruto peace. There will be no peace for Ruto. There will be no sleep for Ruto and his cronies. No peace, no retreat, no surrender. You have to keep fighting for our rights as Kenyans. Thank you very much, guys. I hope that we shall meet again. Reject, viva to the youths that actually died for us. Viva, 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 viva. More power to you. You are our heroes for tomorrow. Viva, 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 viva. Never ever forget what happened yesterday. And we continue fighting. We continue educating. We shall use these platforms as much as we can. We are going to make sure that we continue creating awareness. Even when we are not at home, we are going to be using our platforms to make sure that we educate Kenyans, create awareness, make sure that we take the message to the grassroots levels to empower people with the ability and knowledge to understand the Finance Bill 2024 and how oppressive and how much of a burden it will be on the taxpayer, that is the poor Kenyan. For Kenyans who cannot afford 3 square meals a day, to be charged levies. For Kenyans and women, especially in sexual reproductive health. We're a country that does not even produce its own sanitary towels. For a country that cannot even manufacture medications for its patients. For a country that does not have access to proper health care. For a country that does not have a welfare system where people can fall back on. For a country that wants to charge tax on cancer patients. For a country that is shameless, profiling people according to their income. For a country that wants to segregate the family institution and tax people individually and try to define what a family and a mother and a father and a husband and a wife is, just because they want to create billions out of it. For a country that wants to ensure that a sanitary towel is moving from 140 Kenya shillings to 250. For a country that wants to make sure that we cannot have breakfast for poor Kenyans because the price of bread is going to be double. For a country that is going to be oppressing the youth that are using social media platform and digital spaces to do their business and to create content, charging them levies and taxing their digital content. We are not going to relent. Reject the Finance Bill 2024. Reject. And we are not just rejecting the Finance Bill. We are going to be paying attention to any other bill moving forward in that parliament. We are going to make sure we do public participation on TikTok and off TikTok so that we continue educating. Because yes, our role as the people of Kenya, yes, is also to make sure we elect those parliamentarians. And it is the role of parliamentarians to actually come to us and tell us what is happening in parliament. We did not elect these people to parliament so that they can go dress in parliament. No, your MP has the duty to come back to you and tell you what they are doing in parliament. My friend, it's their job. If they cannot come back and tell us what bills are being passed in parliament, what they entail, how it will affect us, what good it is for us, my friend, we are going to send them home. That is what we are going to do. Reject that bill. That bill is we do not care if it has been passed, if the third reading was done yesterday. We reject it. And we continue to reject draconian bills, draconian laws. We continue to reject dictatorship, and we continue to fight for the sovereignty of our country that is Kenya. My land is Kenya. I belong to Kenya. That is my identity. I shall fight. It does not matter which space I exist in. That space is what I will use to actually impact and educate and make sure that we create awareness in totality. Thank you, everybody. And everyone who was here, I thank you. Again, condolences to our heroes. Viva to our heroes. The people who passed away yesterday, the people who were eliminated through extrajudicial killings. Viva, you've died heroes. We shall honor you. We'll give respect to you. Viva. Yesterday, today, and in the future. Viva. We seek your names and we shall honor you. Thank you, Edna. Viva. Asanteni sana. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much, guys, for viewing this video. Thank you for watching to the end. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, and put on the notification bell so that you're notified anytime I post a new video. Thank you so much, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Goodbye.